Hey guys, Jake here coming at you with another math lesson. Today we're going to continue our discussion of using the one-to-one property to solve exponential equations. We're going to be going through this example here. I wanted to show you an example of how to use the one-to-one property when you're dealing with equations that use e as the base. So in this case, we're going to be doing just that. Be sure to go check out jakesmathlessons.com/precalculus-study-guide. You can see that up in the upper right-hand corner, or just use this QR code here. Takes you to my brand new study guide. Should be a huge help for you as you study for tests, do homework, whatever the case is. It's going to save you a ton of time, I promise. But let's go ahead and jump into the problem here. So we're going to use the one-to-one property to solve this equation for x. E to the x squared plus 6 equals e to the 5x. Okay. So I've done a few problems on my channel recently where we use the one-to-one property. So I'm going to go through this one a little bit quicker. If you do want to go check out those videos, I'll come back and put an info card up there at the top of your screen. I'll link to one of the videos where I went into a little bit more detail. We're going to go through this one a little bit quicker. So let's take a quick look at the one-to-one property real quick. Basically just says that if we have some equation that looks like this, a to the x equals a to the y. Basically, if you have an exponential on both sides of the equation, as long as the base is the same, you can basically just set the exponents equal to each other. So this will only work if x equals y. So if the exponents are equal, that's the only way the equation as a whole will be equal. Again, you want to make sure that you have a positive base and the base can't be 1. So that's exactly what we have here, right? We have e to the x squared plus 6 and e to the 5x. E is just a known constant. It's like 2.7. It's kind of like pi, how it just equals some specific number. But it's a positive number, it's not 1. We know that we have the same base on both sides of our equation. So what we can do is we can just set the exponents equal to each other. We can just take x squared plus 6 equals 5x based on the one-to-one property. So once we have that, this looks like an equation that you're probably a little bit familiar with how to solve, right? We have an x squared term, an x term, a constant term. What we can do is basically move everything to one side of the equation and give us a quadratic, which will be equal to 0, which I'm sure you know how to solve something like that, or at least you've seen something a little bit more familiar like that. So subtracting 5x from both sides is going to cancel it on the right. We're going to get x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, so now we have a quadratic equation. So now we can factor this since it's all equal to 0. We'll factor it. So we need a number that multiplies to positive 6, two numbers that multiply to 6 and add to negative 5. So that would be negative 2 and negative 3. So negative 2 plus negative 3 gives us minus 5. Negative 2 times negative 3 gives us positive 6. So we can factor this out as x minus 2 times x minus 3 equals 0. And then we can take each of these factors and set them equal to 0 separately. X minus 2 equals 0, x minus 3 equals 0, and that just gives us x equals 2 and x equals 3. So there's two solutions to this problem, positive 2 and positive 3, that will solve this initial equation that we had based on the one-to-one property. So again, be sure to go check out jakesmathlessons.com/precalculus-study-guide or scan this QR code. And if you do want to keep this brain train rolling, you're definitely going to want to go check out that video right over there, because you really want to make sure you nail down these exponential functions and see another example of those. So go check that video out, and I'll see you next time.